This episode is sponsored by JDAQA Software Testing, your scalable solution for manual, automated, security, and performance testing. Check us out at jdaqa.com. And with that, let's get on with the show.
This is The First Customer, hosted by Jay Agner.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the First Customer Podcast. My name is Jay Agner. Today, I am lucky enough to be joined by Todd Fisher, Chairman and Founder of Intraprise Solutions. Todd, thanks for joining me today, buddy. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. You're not too far away from me over in Yardley. I'm in the Richboro area, which I guess is, not too far as the crow flies. Where'd you grow up? And you mentioned earlier, the Canadian border. We talked about hockey a little bit.
Yes,
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a small town called Clayton, New York. Clayton is in the Thousand Islands region of the St. Lawrence River. And if you're familiar with New York State, the shape of New York State, it's pretty much at the northernmost part of the state. And the Canadian border runs right through the river where the town I lived in, is. And a lot of people know the Thousand Islands region up there because it's a tourist destination in the summertime for a lot of folks. It's very pretty, very nice. The river's a very nice river. And I grew up there and left to go to college. Really haven't been, I go back to visit.
Right.
I live there again.
Okay. Now, do you think there was any impact there from you being an entrepreneur later in life? Anything up there?
From when I lived up there?
Yeah, when you were
When
where
I
you
was
grew up.
young? It's always hard to say. I'm kind of old. It's hard to remember back then. But I will say that from an early age, I just learned how from I was 11 or 12, my first year. And so a work ethic is sort of important for somebody to be an entrepreneur and fail and succeed and fail, learn, succeed. In that sense, I guess certainly got a good start there. I think the real start was when I was active duty in the military and got assigned things that I really had no idea how to do and realized that I could learn how to do them and did well. And when I separated, I kind of got the bug.
Very cool. So what was the first business you tried to start?
The one that I'm running now, Intraprise Solutions. I started that in 1997. We formally incorporated, I believe, on October 3rd, 1997. 12 months before that, I was working on a prototype that was an idea that I had. This is back at the beginning, of course, of the first internet bubble, and started the business as a web-enabling business, web-enabled business solutions, so business of all. Business. And I had formerly worked for, after I got the military, a health information technology company in the very, very early days of electronic medical records, the days when the digital medical record was literally a scanned image of the paper. And I saw an opportunity to reduce the total cost of ownership of deploying those types of systems by using platform-independent browser-based technology, which was new then and newish. And I think when I started, there were 70 million people on the internet. And nothing need to be said.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. I saw an idea, opportunity. I knew that there was a problem, a challenge in maintaining those systems. They are very costly to maintain because the systems that I'm talking about in the health information technology space were built to serve healthcare providers in hospital settings. It's a very logistically complex environment to begin with, and very mission critical, time sensitive. Things can't break, things can't. And so I saw opportunity and taught myself how to write some software and connected with a few people to do some of the harder software development because I'd never written anything before, and figured out a prototype, showed it to folks in the industry, and that's how it started.
How did you get connected into the medical records space?
One of the first jobs that I, essentially second technically, was the first job that I got out of after I finished active duty serving in the military was for a health information technology startup who, subsequently had ultimately went public and changed their name. But I was a project manager and an implementation person for them. That's where I learned about medical records, the medical record process as it relates to how things flow or flowed back then, at least. It's actually still sort of similar. And that's how I got connected. And because they were a startup, they were a startup. I was the 15th employee twice because I said, oh, this is getting to me. And then they said, I actually like that. And the people were wonderful, awesome. Them work for me. And so because it was a small company, I was exposed to the startup culture. I involved in a lot of things, from sales and business development to implementation, execution, and all that good stuff.
Who was your first customer for that business? Do you remember?
Yes, the company that had hired me twice as the 15th employee, they had contracted me to build a production version of the proof of concept that I developed, which was the web-enabled electronic medical record. I can't guarantee that it was the first one in the country. It was one of the first ones in the country to, it was a very early player as it relates to using the browser as the primary front end for end users, and having the electronic records scanned and centralized and distributed out to desktops and things like that. And so that business, Land Vision, was the name of the business. They're out of Cincinnati. They're since gone public and now called Streamline Health. And they gave me a contract to build this. At the time, it's funny what we learned. Contract have given me the confidence to just say, okay, I'm going to leave what I'm doing, go do this all the time. Well, but I'm glad I did. It's worked out well.
So you co-founded a couple other things later. We were talking a little bit about that. Mobile MD, I think, Enterprise Health. Talk me through kind of where those got spun up from, how you spun them out into other businesses. Like, how did that process work?
Sure. Enterprise Solutions, because we are comprised of software developers, engineers, and industry subject matter experts. Historically, we have focused since the start. I mean, our early, we started in health information technology, but early clients also included players in the mortgage industry, financial services. So we have historically been in those two industries equally, I would say, over the course of time. And during that time, our business kind of served as a place to incubate new concepts, new ideas, new solutions, just by the nature of the way we did things, and because of the reasons that people meaning other businesses would engage us to help in early days leverage the internet to their benefit, to be considered a first iteration of digital transformation. And so we were exposed to a lot of different problem, solution, opportunity, benefit type combinations, and environment solving problems for other companies also gave us opportunities to incubate new ideas and see where things could be better. And with respect to Mobile MD, we saw an opportunity to build a private cloud-based. This is really early before public cloud services really were a big thing. I bought a data center, and we operated the system of health information exchange from that data center. And it was successful. We bootstrapped that for a number of years and in quite a few health systems. And from there, we took in some private equity and did well. And 2 years after we did that, we sold the business and exited. And the entire time that we were running Mobile MD, Enterprise Solutions was still continuing to do work, largely in the financial services sector. Again, continuing to continue to create solutions for our customers using the latest, greatest advanced techniques and technologies to solve problems that are and continue to be quite challenging. And so like I said, it really provided for a good proving ground for a lot of different types of solutions. And it served as a great place to incubate new business ideas and businesses.
Love it. Give me one of your biggest failures and what you learned from it.
Great question. And I will say, you fail more than you succeed. It sounds like I'm dodging the question because I'm not saying what it was yet, but I'll get there. I think I have to think about it. It's been a long career.
Sure.
The other thing I will say is that luck plays a lot bigger role than people realize. That anybody tells you, it was all and no luck involved in any successes, they haven't taken a step back and gotten perspective. No disrespect to anybody, but
No,
luck
I'm
involved.
I'm a firm subscriber to that theory.
Yeah,
Luck
absolutely.
luck and timing are now, the old chance favors the prepared quote, I think is very true too, because you
Sure.
have to be ready for
Favorite quote?
and then we have to be ready for that opportunity and the luck to happen. But yeah, people who don't give luck its fair share, I think, are not really not being honest with themselves.
A chance
That's a
favors
fair point.
prepared mind. Louis Pasteur. I love it. I love that
Yeah.
quote.
Favorites.
And so, the biggest failure I've had a number of times, I think we started down a path that was pretty far out there and didn't stick with it and spent a lot of money, ideas, and invested in ideas that ultimately proven to be, good ideas. We were really early in trying to figure out how to do, leverage what we come to know as big data to build models that perform generation behavioral analytics, pretty sophisticated based on, linguistics and things like that to figure out, what type of person we're dealing with and what their tendencies are. I'm a big fan of the behavioral science. I study a lot the behavioral sciences and things like that. And so like I said, we're a great business to incubate new ideas. Some of those ideas, we kind of got ahead of our skis a little bit and had to pull back and regroup and invest money, effort, energy, people, and definitely a difficult process to go through, especially when you're passionate about the idea.
Right. Yes, I definitely feel you on that. If you had to, or had the opportunity to kind of travel back in time and whisper into Todd's ear before he started the business 26 years ago, what would you tell him? What would be some of your advice, things that you've learned along the way?
One, luck plays a really important role in everything you're about to do. And honestly, this sounds counterintuitive given what I just said, but go big. And particularly as we've advanced, sophisticated technologies become democratized and more accessible at a cost and a price point that allows a lot more competition in the marketplace to do big things. I think we are. I didn't think big enough. So I would have made that suggestion is, if you can imagine and it's out there and you think you can do it, it's, why not? What if, what next are the questions that you should ask yourself. I didn't ask myself that for a long time. We've been successful, but I think we've also missed opportunities.
How was your approach to getting clients? How did that change over the duration of your business? I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. You obviously have a great team under you now, and there's probably a bunch of different mechanisms for acquiring and retaining talent and getting clients and all that sort of stuff. How has that changed? How did you used to do it, and how do you do it today?
Well, when we started, we did it as I hired folks into the business, hired people, least of which my brother. I hired a lot of folks who were military because I was familiar with that, understood their mindset, or at least, understood what they learned, and that served me very well. And we traded on our reputation and networking before digital engagement And social networking was a means of actually creating awareness of an organization, getting out there like we are talking today. It wasn't the case back then, but that kind of approach ended up serving us well, and just making darn sure that we did a very good job at what we delivered. And we're proud of our history. We've done some pretty cool things that have since, kind of been transformative in some industries, in particular, like in healthcare with coding and abstracting medical records so that physicians could get paid. We created a based solution there for a company, and it was one of the first, if not the first, and it allowed them to recruit remote coders when they were in short supply. And so things like that got us into a network of individuals. And then we would attend trade shows and things like that, where the network of people all showed up in the same place, same time. We were able to talk to them. That served us well. When we spun out Mobile MD with private equity, and because we've been bootstrapped pretty much, Enterprise has been bootstrapped its entire, all 26 years. But when we took in some private equity on Mobile MD, we, of course, added a little more, I guess, what you would characterize as traditional or, outside sales team and the like. And that certainly was very beneficial and helpful. And it was a good way to leverage the capital that we took in. The technology was largely, we had advanced it, but it was largely, and to grow. So we've kind of run the gamut there. And today our outreach is social media, digital engagement with our target audiences. We do a lot of research, market research, using the tools that are available to, marketing agencies and things like that, organizations. That's what they do. And then engage, audiences very specifically. It's related to the solutions that they need. I'll give you an example. We know that in the financial services space, in the mortgage-backed securities space, the idea of being able to value a portfolio of assets and simulate what would happen if interest rates go up, if they go down, different things happen in the economy, running simulations using different kinds of statistical models. That's a really important thing. It's gotten a lot of news lately, given the relatively recent bank failures, understanding exposure. So that's what I mean when I say, so they're very targeted, specific messages that we communicate, saying, we understand this domain. A lot of people can write software. A lot of people can write software and know what you mean when you say, mortgage-backed security, what that even means.
Right. Have you guys leveraged the offshore talent for what you guys do? So you're all US based.
Are US based, and people make choices. People make whatever choices they want. Experience with organizations that have leveraged, and this does not mean it's applicable to everybody by any stretch of imagination. My experience with organizations that have done is there's historically was enough overhead to manage that it ended up resulting in roughly the same cost. And, and today more so ever, in my opinion, that the real value is in the combination of understanding how fast and what the technology is and where it's going. And then the niche domain expertise is critically important. Technologists have to be able to speak the domain that they're serving today, in my humble opinion, but be dealing in very niche area of financial services and in very specific areas in healthcare. And so maybe it's less in other parts of the economy, but I find that's very important.
Interesting. Okay. Well, this was great, man. A lot of great stuff. I love the story. I love that you're a local guy, and you're kind of just the American dream entrepreneur. And thank you for your service, by the way. I should have said that earlier. But I if people want to reach out to you, Todd, if they want to find Entraprise Solutions or anything else you're involved in, how do they do that?
Say again.
If anybody wants to reach out to you or to find more about Entraprise Solutions, how would they do that? Where do they go to find you?
They can find us at Intraprise.com, www.intraprise.com. There's contact information there. My email address is tfisher@intraprise.com. Certainly, if somebody wants to reach out to me directly, that would be wonderful too. And no problem. I'd have to commit to memory everybody else's email address, and I don't have that off the tip of my tongue, but you visit our website and have a knowledge exchange where we exchange ideas about emerging technologies. And so that kind of dovetails nicely with what we do. So yeah, that's how I suggest folks get in touch with us.
Awesome, man. Well, you've been great, Todd. Enjoy the rest of your week, brother. Enjoy the beautiful fall weather we're going to get here in the next few weeks. And I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. On one shout out real quick. I'd be very remiss not to do this. No one person makes us happy. And everybody that's ever worked for us is awesome.
I love it, man. And you could not be more right. Sign of a good leader there. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, Todd. See you, man.
All right. Take care.